Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news and transfer news update show discussing all the news going around in football related to Manchester United topics and more. And the Premier League is back, guys. Thank God the Premier League is back, and even better, Liverpool drop points. And my weekend will be even better if Man City can drop some points. And actually, if Man City can get no points at all this weekend, would be even brilliant. But in today's video, we will be talking about the Manchester Derby lineups going around that's been leaked that could be United rumoured starting lineup tomorrow, with Martial apparently starting according to some rumours, but we will get into that, the reliability of that in a second. We're going to be talking about Ten Hag's new demands. Ten Hag's got some new demands this season, some new strict demands that he's laying on players. We will get into the transfer news. United hoping to sign this top young Benfica striker. Very, very reliable sources have linked us to the player. I think he's got something like 14 goal contributions in 9 games. His stats are almost as insane as Gakpo. And if we could get Gakpo and obviously the winger Goncalo Ramos, so the centre forward Goncalo Ramos, we would have 2 of the best young talents in Europe. And I mean, Gakpo's 23, I think, but Goncalo Ramos is a 21-year-old next Ronaldo, next Mbappe kind of player that United have been rumoured to. So we'll talk about what's been said about him, how likely is that as well. We've got some rumours on Bellingham. We've got some rumours of Ronaldo not featuring tomorrow. Ten Hag has spoken about Rashford and Rashford's form. Apparently, during the World Cup, United will still play matches, friendly matches. So we could have some Man United watch-alongs in the World Cup break as well. Eriksen's come out and spoken about his United form. Eriksen sort of spoke about his body, because a lot of people were, I think, concerned with Christian Eriksen. Like, is Eriksen's body going to be able to cope with all the games he's playing? And Eriksen's kind of spoken up about how he deals with the situation and everything that's happened after the heart attack and all that, which I think is quite interesting. So we'll get into that. Obviously, Ten Hag saying what he said to Rashford to try and get his form back as well. So lots of interesting things to talk about. Guys, please do smash that like button. Please do subscribe down below if you're new. I know Diego's put in the chat the refereeing was shocking for the Chelsea game as Crystal Palace did drop points. Liverpool dropping points, absolutely amazing. Arsenal are winning, and I sit here now and I'm thinking, fuck, Arsenal are in a title race. But I'm also saying Ten Hag is the only manager to stop Arteta. All I'm saying is Ten Hag is the guy. He's a big game manager. And people say to me, Alice, you're deluded if you think we're going to beat Man City tomorrow. I think we're going to beat Man City tomorrow. I think we're going to win this game like 3-1. I generally have confidence we're going to beat Man City and that we're going to deserve to beat City. And the reason I say I think United are going to beat City is, one, I'm deluded. I love Ten Hag and I will be biased to Manchester United in every sense of the way. But Ten Hag is a big game manager. Like, he's beaten Klopp, he's beaten Arteta. You know, look at the teams Ajax have knocked out the Champions League, Real Madrid, just after they won it. Ten Hag beat Dortmund 4-0 last season. Martinez had Haaland in his fucking pocket. Jamie Carragher doesn't seem to know that. Jamie Carragher will sit there and watch Virgil van Dijk putting in another disaster class. Says nothing. Lisandro Martinez can't play for United. He's too small. That's what he'll be saying. The worst accent ever. I can't do accents, so actually just ignore that. But, Ten Hag, I'm confident we're going to win. I am. Martinez is going to pocket Haaland. I generally am more confident of us beating Man City than us beating Everton. And the reason I say that is because I know Ten Hag's a big game manager. Now, if it comes out that the leaks are not true and all of that, and Martial and Rashford can't play, I don't think we'll win. But I think if we have Martial back and we have Rashford back, I think we'll win. I think we'll get them on the counter-attack. The pacing behind will be too much. I don't think City are actually at top at the moment. John Stones is out. And Ten Hag is such a fantastic manager. He's such a very good technical manager. And as brilliant as Pep is, Ollie's beaten Pep loads of times at the Etihad. United have a really good record going into the Etihad. So I do have this deluded confidence that United will win. Guys, do smash that like button and subscribe down below. Even Ollie beat Pep exactly. Ollie at the wheel. Pep is a bigger manager than Ten Hag, of course, but Pep is a fantastic manager. And although Ten Hag has beaten Arsenal, there's something about Ten Hag. He's a big game manager. And the reason Ten Hag's a big game manager is we know this at Ajax. Look at the teams Ajax knocked out the Champions League. Look at the games Ten Hag's won. Ten Hag is honestly thrives at being an underdog. When Ajax are the underdogs, they often prevail. And when we went into that Liverpool game after being beaten by Brentford 4-0, no one had hope for us. And Ten Hag completely changed his tactics. We're not playing Ten Hag ball. People forget this. Ten Hag completely changed his tactics for the Liverpool game. The way Ten Hag wants us to play, we're not playing. We're not even playing Ten Hag football. Ten Hag's playing a football that he's not used to playing. But he's that good of a tactician, that good as a manager. He's completely changed United's tactics up, and he thought, we've got to beat Liverpool. I can't beat Liverpool playing Ten Hag ball. It's not working with the players we have available. I'm going to have to adapt my style of football to the players we have. Ten Hag knows he doesn't have all the players he needs at United, so he's having to adapt his style to play that way. And, he's going to do that with Pep Guardiola. And I've always said, look, we have a really good record at the Etihad. I think, Man City have only won 2 of the last 8 games against United at the Etihad. So, everybody, get your score predictions down below. I'm going to go 3-1 United. Some people saying 3-2 United. Daniel going with a 2-2. Gaz said it is the Baldy derby. Yep. Diego's agreeing with me. 3-1. Bruno, Sancho, Ronaldo to score. And Haaland's just inevitable to get that goal, isn't he? Newcastle were leading against Man City before drawing 3-3. The thing about Man City is, you can be 4-0 up against Man City and you're not safe. If you're 4-0 up against most teams, you can do some subs, you can relax. If you're 4-0 up against City, you're never safe. They're one of those teams as well. We need Casemiro playing. I think our defence will pull through to win 2-1. And that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking our defence is solid. I don't think there's any, as brilliant as Haaland is, I'm so confident in Lisandro Martinez and Varane. Like, guys, you don't understand how confident I am in Lisandro Martinez and Varane. Like, I've not been this confident watching Man United centre-backs play since Rio and Vidic. I can't explain it. I know we had that good moment when it was Smalling and who was playing with Smalling? I remember we had good moments when it was Smalling and Bayern and Mourinho when the defence was solid. But I generally, with this defence, I was just going to ask you a question in the poll, actually. I'm going to ask you guys a poll quickly. Who are you starting tomorrow, McTomminay or Casemiro? Which I can't believe is a question, but I'm going to put a poll in here, sorry, because I want you guys to answer the poll. But when I look at that United defence, I feel so confident in Varane. I feel so confident in Martinez. It's the most confident I've been in the United defence in a while. Like Martinez, Varane, Dalot, I generally feel confident that we're not going to ship 4 or 5 goals. And the crazy thing is, just 6-7 months ago at the end of last season, we had our worst ever defensive record ever in Premier League history. Last season was the worst ever defensive display Manchester United have ever had in Premier League history. Ever had. Worst ever defensive display in United history, in Premier League history. So going into this season, I was thinking the defence is crap, the midfield's crap, the attack is thinning. And all of a sudden, he's just put Martinez in there. He's got this partnership with Martinez, Varane, and Dalot's come through, and Malasia's come through. And it feels like we've gone from having the worst defence in Man United history to probably our second best back four post Sir Alex. And, we're playing against Haaland. Haaland's a fucking machine. Haaland's a monster. And I sit here going, well, Lisandro Martinez has kept clean sheets against Haaland. I sit here thinking Varane and Martinez are going to deal with Haaland quite well. Now, I could get absolutely humbled tomorrow and absolutely embarrassed tomorrow, but I think that back four at United is absolutely incredible. And this brings me into the midfield. As you can see, there will be a poll. Who would you play tomorrow? McTomminay or Casemiro? We are going to get into the lineup that's gone about for tomorrow's game. But I want to ask you, who would you play, McTomminay or Casemiro? And I cannot even believe I'm asking this. I cannot believe I'm asking this because I've slagged off McTomminay. I've given McTomminay a fair share of stick. And I cannot believe I'm sitting here saying, do we play McTomminay or do we play Casemiro? Because it's not even a debate. Casemiro is miles clear. But with how good Scott McTominay was an international break for Scotland, with how good McTominay has been consistently for 6 games, and Casemiro wasn't quite really at it versus Sheriff, there's a part of me that goes, do you change that lineup that beat Arsenal? Because all those players are still fit to beat Arsenal. All those players played well in the international break. Do you change that lineup? But then when you have Casemiro available, surely you've got to drop Casemiro and play McTominay. So sure you've got to drop McTominay and play Casemiro because Casemiro's levels ahead of McTominay. But McTominay is playing so well that actually I sit here and I go, if Ten Hag played McTominay tomorrow, I wouldn't complain. And I'm surprised I'm saying that because I said McTominay could never play as a 6 in the Manchester derby, and I wouldn't complain. I would like Casemiro to play because I think Casemiro is a lot better, and you just don't know what McTominay is going to show up. But right now, you sit there and you go, like, who would you start, Casemiro or McTominay? Do you change the lineup, or do you give Casemiro a go as well? Martial and Rashford should start. Well, according to reports, Marcus Rashford will be on the bench because Marcus Rashford is not fully fit yet. But Antony Martial is set to start tomorrow for Manchester United. Antony Martial is rumoured, according to leaks, and obviously leaks are leaks. Leaks that come out the day before aren't always accurate. Leaks that I find that leaks, however, that come out a few hours before are quite accurate. So I think the leaks that come out tomorrow morning will be more accurate. But according to leaks and stuff, it looking like Martial is going to start striker tomorrow with Ronaldo on the bench. Now, I'm not sure how someone like Cristiano Ronaldo will feel about this. If I was Cristiano Ronaldo, I wouldn't be particularly happy if I saw myself on the bench and Martial playing when he's just come back from injury. But there are a lot of rumours and reports that Martial is set to play tomorrow, and we will get into the lineup actually. Let me show you the predicted lineup, and then let me show you the leaked lineup. So if we look at the sort of the predicted lineup going around from SofaScore, it is sort of being said that it's going to be De Gea, Dalot, Varane, Lisandro Martinez, Tyrell Malacia, Eriksen, McTomminay, Antony, Bruno, and Rashford. However, the lineup that I've been sent is this lineup, but it's actually Martial playing instead of Rashford. But this is the prediction for tomorrow's game. Now, do let me know what you think about that. Apart from I've been told Martial's going to play, but they say Martial's out. But Martial is available to play. Obviously, they've got Laporte, Calvin Phillips, and John Stones out. It'll be interesting to see how Akanji does for Man City as well. He's actually a player that Rangnick recommended that United buy. But I do think that we're going to win this game 3-1, if I'm being all honest with you as well. Guys, please do smash the like button and, of course, subscribe down below as well. A lot of people saying no stopping Haaland. If we keep a clean sheet tomorrow, guys, give Varane and Martinez a fucking medal if we keep a clean sheet tomorrow. I'd tell you that now as well. And Pep is running EPL. No manager is nowhere near close to Pep in mindset. I agree, Pep is the best manager in the Premier League by a while, but I think Ten Hag is the closest thing to Pep Guardiola. And Pep Guardiola actually came out and said, in his press conference, Pep Guardiola came out and spoke about how much of a fantastic manager Ten Hag is. Pep said, Ten Hag's an absolutely brilliant manager. Ten Hag's someone I could see replacing me at Man City. Now, Ten Hag obviously was like, now I'm not going to Man City, and laughed it off. But even Pep Guardiola's coming out and saying, yeah, Ten Hag is the type of guy I could see replacing me at Man City, because I do believe that Ten Hag's probably one of the highest rated young players out there. He's an absolute young player, young managers out there. He's an absolute fantastic manager. And I've always said, look, Pep's a fantastic manager, but I was fine with Pep Guardiola. He'll overthink things. And, Ollie's beat Pep twice at the Etihad. I do think that Ten Hag will win. I do want to get into the transfer news. I do want to get into some more stories and all that, but we've just got a super chat here. So let me scroll down and read it out. It's saying, what a masterpiece Champagne Football Champions is waiting. Look, saying, I appreciate the super chat. Arsenal are playing very well at the moment. Arsenal are right now in a title race. But Man City will win the league, saying, because Arsenal do not have the depth to compete to the end of the season. But Saliba was good. Arsenal are doing well, but also saying 3-1 United. But, Ten Hag is coming for Arteta. Ten Hag, Arsenal's all going well now. Watch Chi play City. Watch Chi play Chelsea. Ten Hag is coming for Arteta. I feel like he is. No, I'm joking. But Arsenal are doing really, really well as well. Let's all laugh at draw, Paul. It's nice to look at them down in the league. Yeah, guys, let's have a look at the Premier League table, as Paul says. Let's have a look at their Premier League table here. So we've got Arsenal on the top. No one wants to see Arsenal at the top. So let's just scroll down. Where are Liverpool? 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Oh, 9th. Liverpool are 9th. And we have a game in hand over Liverpool. So if we beat City tomorrow, we go into 4th with 15 points. So we go into 4th place if we beat City tomorrow, and Tottenham would still have a game in hand on us as well. So if we win our next 2 games, we'd actually be technically 3rd place. And City have a game in hand on us as well, actually. So funny enough, actually, if we win our next 2 games, we would be in 2nd place. If we win our next 2 games, we'll be in 2nd place. But Liverpool here in 9th place. United have potential to go 5 points clear of Liverpool. Arsenal already 11 points clear of Liverpool, but United are sitting here, and if we win our next 2 games, we will sit there in 2nd, and we will be 3 points behind Arsenal if we win our next 2 games, sitting there in 2nd. So our next 2 games are City and Everton, and with my deluded confidence, I do believe that we will beat City and Everton. But thanks, Same, for the super chat as well. Alice, if Man United can boss the midfield, you may have a chance to win, but City are a different breed of midfield. You're spot on, Blue Star. Man City have the best midfield in the Premier League by a country mile, and this will be a different test for the United midfield, because although Eriksen, McTomminay, and Bruno have been playing well, when you actually look at the midfields Eriksen, McTomminay, and Bruno have come against, they've not been good midfields. Arsenal did not have Antony or Partey. Arsenal did play a weakened midfield of Vieira, Xhaka, and Odegaard. It's a good midfield, but it's not Arsenal's strongest midfield. Liverpool played Harvey Elliott, Milner, and I think Henderson. Liverpool had a weaker midfield. Obviously, Leicester have been shit at the bottom of the league. Southampton had a weaker midfield. The one thing that I will say that we need to be careful of tomorrow, And the one thing that worries me in the slightest is that we haven't played a full strength midfield. Now City have got Gundogan, De Bruyne and Rodri playing tomorrow, who are the best midfield trio right now in the Premier League. That midfield controls games. That midfield is insane. When we played Liverpool, it was a weak midfield. When we played Arsenal, it was a weak midfield. Leicester is shit and Southampton's an average midfield. But I do say, and this is why I think we should play Casemiro and not McTomminay tomorrow, I wouldn't take the risk, because although that midfield has been brilliant, the midfield we're playing against Man City is a different gravy. And I think, I always say games are won and lost in midfield. And I would approach this game with Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno. I'd even go Casemiro, Donny and Eriksen, but I don't. That's what I do, but I know that's not going to happen. And I think McTominay, as brilliant as he's been, and as good as he can be against Man City with very counter-attacking football, I just don't see how he controls the midfield against Rodri and Gundogan. I think we will struggle in that aspect. If we need to counter-attack City, although we're not looking for possession, we need some kind of control in the midfield, because when Ole beat Man City loads of times on their counter-attack, Pep figured it out. And Pep then overloaded the midfield. And I remember we losing 3-1 to City, and Pep kind of figured out what Ole was doing. And I worry that Pep could do that with Ten Hag. You saw what Ten Hag did against Arsenal and Liverpool and how they won. Pep's figured it out that we're going to do that. And Pep might look to overload the midfield, so we can't do that. So I do think United need to be careful in the midfield sense of things. But I think Ten Hag will be aware of that. I think Ten Hag will be aware of all the things. And, there's even rumours. There are rumours going around that Donny's starting. I did see an account tweet that Donny was going to start. However, it was one of those ITK looking for fame, going to tweet anything, because if they're right, they're going to claim they're a tier 1 journalist account. But there were even rumours that Donny could start. Now, I know Donny will be on the bench tomorrow, and we spoke about the whole Donny van de Beek situation yesterday, where Ten Hag has told Donny van de Beek he's going to be used very heavily over the next month and a bit. But I do think controlling the midfield is going to be massive as well. We will talk about Cody Gakpo, guys, Cody Gakpo's stats at the moment are absolutely insane. And Manchester United are set to go in for Cody Gakpo in January, with even Erik Ten Hag, hinting that United were going to sign players in January. Ten Hag, we know Ten Hag, and Romano said this. Fabrizio Romano said this with Cody Gakpo. Fabrizio Romano said that Cody Gakpo will be available in January. Now, that's what Fabrizio Romano said, and Fabrizio Romano has confirmed Ten Hag and United are interested in Cody Gakpo. Now, we know as things stands, the board, Murtough, Arnold, Glazers, they don't want to spend money in January. But Ten Hag's come out and said, if the right player's there in January, he wants them, he wants to buy an attacker in January. We know Cody Gakpo is available in January, and we know Ten Hag wants Cody Gakpo, and we know Ten Hag has said if the right player's available in January, I want to get them. So we could potentially be getting Gakpo in January, but I will get some updates on that. I will wait for some more news to come out regarding Gakpo nearer the time, but I do want to get into the Benfica player that United have been rumoured to. But I just want to say, can anyone see Liverpool on my screen? Can anyone see Liverpool on my screen? Because I can't. Does anyone know where Liverpool are in the league? Because I can't, a Fulham 8th, can't see Liverpool. Can't see Liverpool. But yeah, in Jan, we should sell my players like Maguire, and Fred says Spyros. And I'm going to disagree with you here. I'm going to disagree with you. I think it would be idiotic of Manchester United to sell Maguire and Fred in January, because the fixture list coming up after the World Cup is so intense. It's a game every 3 days that we're going to need depth. Now, I don't think Maguire and Fred deserve to be starting in the United lineup on current form, and I wouldn't want to see them in the starting lineup right now. But if you think we should sell Maguire in January, you're wrong. You're generally wrong. A lot of people don't like Maguire. I think selling him in the summer and bringing in a good young centre-back would be a smart move. But we cannot afford to sell anyone in January. It doesn't matter if it's Maguire. Maybe Phil Jones can go. But we can't afford to really sell anyone in January, because we have the most intense fixture list if we stay in the cup games, which I think we will. We're in the Europa League as well, so I think we'll stay in there to the very end. We're going to have the most intense fixture list we've ever had, that there's going to be games every 3 days. And as much as I love Varane and Martinez, and as much as I think Varane and Martinez are the shit, and I want Varane and Martinez to play every single week, Varane and Martinez will physically not be able to play every single game. Varane will get injured. He's Raphael Varane, for God's sake. He's made of glass. So we need Maguire, because Lindelof will get injured as well. Because if you don't have Maguire, you're going into Phil Jones. Now, if you're telling me would you rather have Maguire or Phil Jones, I'd rather have Maguire. Tuanzevi's a risk as well. We need Maguire, okay? I wouldn't sell Maguire in January. I wouldn't sell Fred, because we need them purely for depth. We're going to have a lot of games coming up. We're going to need to rest players like Varane and Martinez for the big games. We can use Varane, we can use Fred, we can use Maguire in the Europa League games. We need them. Come summer, I think Fred, what do you do? Because his contract is expiring, maybe you extend it by a year. Maguire comes summer. Samuel Luckhurst has said Maguire's potentially looking to leave United in the summer. There's Kingmin Jae, who's had a fucking fantastic season at Napoli, £40 million release clause. There's Jurien Timber, who Ten Hag wants. So, and he can also play right back, which can offer backup for Delo. So I think come summer, Maguire maybe sell. But in January, I think United need to not sell anyone. I think if someone's going to leave in January, it will be Ronaldo. There are lots of strong reports saying that Ronaldo is going to leave Manchester United in January and that Ronaldo has a pre-agreement with Chelsea, according to rumours, which aren't their rumours, not strong reports, that Ronaldo could go to Chelsea in January. But I know United have got strikers and attackers lined up. I know we can get Gakpo in January. I know United can get Cody Gakpo in January because Fabrizio Romano said that, and we know Ten Hag wants him, and we know PSV will sell Gakpo in January if an appropriate bid comes in. And Gakpo has got crazy numbers, crazy goals. So if Ronaldo does leave in January because he's got some kind of agreement with Chelsea and Todd Boehly, and if that rumour turns out to be true, then United can go and get Gakpo in. But I don't think United should be selling any defenders or any midfielders, and I don't think we should be selling Ronaldo, but it might be a situation where he's not been good, his mind's not here and he needs to go. Because we're going to need all the depth we can need going into after the World Cup. We're going to need a lot of depth as well. Alice, would you pay both Casemiro and McTomminay? I'd understand why Ten Hag would do it because it would give us a very strong defensive stability if we played both McTomminay and Casemiro. But personally, I just think it's too restrictive on the ball. I just think, the passing ability on the ball, we're going to struggle to get the ball from midfield to attack, I think, if we played them both. People saying Liverpool 3-3 Brighton, United winning tomorrow. Let me know score predictions down below. Someone said 4-1 City as well. A lot of people saying United win. What's your score prediction? 3-1 Martial goal, Eriksen for 2. Hopefully that's the case as well. Maguire's completely out of the game tomorrow. We are going to talk about Goncalo Ramos, though, the next player United are going in for. And we should have brought Gakpo in the summer window. I agree. 100%. Someone said Bailly should come back on loan to replace Maguire. That would be a smart move. But Ten Hag, I've got the impression that Ten Hag isn't the biggest fan of Eric Bailly. Ten Hag did tell Bailly that he would play if he stayed at United, but we know Eric Bailly was a leaker. And we know that Ten Hag, doesn't like Bailly's attitude. We also know, as much as I love Bailly and as brilliant, as much as I felt sorry for Bailly last season because I think he did deserve to play with the likes of Maguire, Rangnick was fuming with Bailly. Rangnick played Phil Jones over Eric Bailly. And now Rangnick played Phil Jones over Eric Bailly, not because Phil Jones is better than Eric Bailly, but because Eric Bailly was leaking things to the press. Eric Bailly was apparently being not very professional in training, causing issues. And Eric Bailly would then go on social media and like posts slagging off Maguire. Now, some of you might find that funny that Eric Bailly's liking posts saying him and Varane should play centre-back and liking posts saying Maguire's been crap. But Eric Bailly's Maguire's teammate, who should not be liking anything like that. He shouldn't. Whether you agree with it or not, like at the end of the day, he's his teammate. He shouldn't. And I get the impression that Ten Hag isn't a fan of Bailly, like Rangnick wasn't. And that's why, as much as I think Bailly deserved more of a chance at United, one, Bailly's not good on the ball. He's not. I tell you this now, Maguire is better than Bailly on the ball, but Bailly's a better centre-back in general than Maguire. Bailly's not a Ten Hag centre-back, and Bailly will be gone in the summer. Ten Hag wants Bailly gone. Ten Hag wants Phil Jones gone. Ten Hag wants Wan-Bissaka gone, and Ten Hag wants Brandon Williams gone. Brandon Williams and Wan-Bissaka are the opposite players to what Ten Hag wants. They don't suit the way he plays. Phil Jones, Ten Hag wants got rid of. Eric Bailly, Ten Hag wants to get rid of. I know that for a fact. So a lot of people could say, we could bring Bailly back and sell Maguire. But Ten Hag, even if we had a fully fit Bailly, Ten Hag would play Maguire with Eric Bailly because Maguire is better on the ball than Eric Bailly. Okay, and Eric Bailly is better in every other attribute, but Ten Hag wants players that are more comfortable on the ball. So, Eric Bailly wouldn't last long at United under Ten Hag as well. I'm just going to take a drink of water, but Trossard did expose Liverpool. He did. And Forza and Nkunku to Chelsea. Good deal, very early. It's weird how early Chelsea are getting deals done. I'd have liked Nkunku at United, so I am a little bit jealous as well. I'd rather Axel over Maguire. I'd like to see how Axel does under Ten Hag, because I still believe, I know Axel's have poor loans, but I still believe there's a good player in Axel. And Blue Star said Alice Glazers said they had no money for transfers. I don't know what they're doing. As soon as they sell Man United, we can get the club back on track. Spot on. I'm going to get into this chat by Blue Star. Spot on. And as Paul says, Glazers sell now. The Glazers are coming out saying we don't have money to spend in January. The Glazers are coming out going, we don't have money to spend in January. We're not going to be spending this kind of money again. The Glazers going around and around saying, no, we can't spend this kind of money again that we spent last summer. We're not going to back Ten Hag, la-di-la-di-la. That's what the Glazers are doing, and that's what they will do. But talking of the summer transfer window where we will spend, we know for a fact, in the summer, United will sign a striker, a midfielder and a defender in the summer with looks at a goalkeeper. United want a long-term centre-forward. And this is Goncalo Ramos, who's just turned 21 years of old. He is a Portuguese centre-forward of decent height. And so far this season, Goncalo Ramos has 8 goals and 6 assists in 12 games. But if you actually look at the detailed stats of those 12 games, you can actually see here, he's been subbed off at a lot of them. He's only played 827 minutes. He averages nearly a goal a game, Goncalo Ramos, and he averages a goal or assist pretty much every game. At 21 years of age, and this is in the Champions League as well. Like, he's been playing a lot in the Champions League, and he's obviously got 4 goals and 2 assists in the Champions League qualifiers playing centre forward. Now, Goncalo Ramos is a centre forward. We're looking for a long-term Ronaldo replacement. He happens to be Portuguese, so he is compared to Ronaldo. He's also been compared a bit to Mbappe as well. Did get an assist and put in a solid performance versus Juventus. Look very, very good so far this season. But the rumours on Goncalo Ramos I'm going to get into now. It was said that new top European clubs, including Manchester United and PSG, are attentive for Goncalo Ramos after his brilliant performances at Benfica, will consider selling him for about £35 million. And this has come out from a very good source, a good Portuguese source, that he could only cost United £35 million, and it could be an attainable attacking option, because Gakpo is more of a winger. Now, I will look at Cody Gakpo, who, this is a summer signing for United. This is a Ronaldo replacement, whereas if we do look for someone like Cody Gakpo here, who would be a player likely coming to United in January, he again is at valued at a very similar price to Goncalo. And if we get into his stats this season, Cody Gakpo, he's got 10 goals and 9 assists in 13 games. He's got 19 goal contributions in 13 games. And obviously, just smashing up the Eredivisie. Hasn't done too much in the Champions League qualifiers, but he's obviously done well in the Europa League as well. So they're the 2 players to keep an eye out. They're 2 attackers that could cost around the £30 million mark. And the reason I'm saying we should keep an eye on these 2 attackers and see if they come to Manchester United is because we know that Ronaldo could be leaving, and we know that United will be interested in getting attackers in, because potential for Cristiano Ronaldo to be leaving Manchester United in January, because Ronaldo just wants out at United and apparently his head's not focused at United. Now, I do want to get into a few more stories and all of that as well. Bruno Fernandes obviously talking about his Manchester United future and all of that, but I want to show you something that I liked on Twitter that was quite interesting, if I can find it as well. And here it is. So I saw this tweet, and I wanted to quickly talk about Amad Diallo before I get into another interesting story about Ten Hag's new demands. But this tweet said, am I the only one that's a little worried about Amad? I know he's only 20, but he can't even start for Sunderland and couldn't start for Rangers, even though they didn't have a proper right winger at the time. 19 million plus another 17 million add-ons feels like extortion. It absolutely does feel like extortion, but I'm worried for Amad Diallo because I think there's a good player in Amad Diallo. But it's just not, it doesn't seem to be working for him. Like, he's only young. He's, Aubameyang, didn't actually become a good player to 24, 25. If I really want to see someone like Amad Diallo go to Dortmund on loan, I really do. I think that United have been giving him poor loans. I think he would do well in the Bundesliga for a team like Dortmund. I think they would give him opportunities because I think he's that kind of player. And I'm worried about Amad Diallo because I think Palestri's better than him. I think Garnacho's getting in over him at the moment. And I wouldn't say Elanga was naturally better than him, but I think Elanga is right now proving to be better than him, yeah. And the sad thing is, when Amad Diallo played for the United under 23s, he was too good. Amad Diallo was averaging goals and assists every game for the United 23s. He was getting better stats than Garnacho, better stats than Greenwood. But he can't do it in the first team. And is that because we're giving him the wrong loans? I mean, what would you guys do with Amad Diallo? Do we just say it's early days at Sunderland and we wait and see what happens? But I am worried about Amad Diallo. I really am. And Ten Hag sent him out on loan. Ten Hag wasn't interested in using him, which was probably the right thing to send him out on loan. But he just can't. He can't seem to get a game anywhere, and that does worry me as well. Benfica selling Darwin, and now they want to sell Ramos. Benfica are a selling club. They're an absolute selling club. And Palestri and Diallo and Donny and Axel should get some game time in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. Yeah, exactly. Palestri is back. Palestri actually went on international duty and was playing in international duty, so Palestri will be back as well. And do you think Ten Hag will keep or sell Tellez next summer? I think that Tellez will be sold as well. And are we surprised Amma was friends with Bay? I think that has nothing to do with it as well. And which City player would you like to take from their midfield? Rodri. I just think he's such a brilliant DM as well. We do need backup for Eriksen, and that is why Donny's so important this season. Donny might not be playing now, but Donny's the only player that can really play in that Eriksen Bruno role if something happens to them. McTomminay can't, Fred can't, and so on. So that's why we need Donny. We have 100 likes, guys. Let's push for 200 likes. So please do smash that like button if you have not already. And, of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Man City haven't sold out the stadium for the derby, but someone I want to talk about actually is Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo is an academy player for United that's been absolutely incredible at the moment. I watched a bit of under 18s. I've watched a bit of under 23. And he absolutely stands out. And we're playing this Ammonia side on Thursday. And Kobbie Mainoo is rumoured to be on the bench for that. And Ten Hag hopefully is going to give him a chance. But I want to get into another story here about Ten Hag's message to the United squad. Reportedly, Ten Hag has made it very clear to the board what he wants at United and very clear to the United squad what he wants at United. Ten Hag's made it very, very clear to everyone at United that he's not here to muck about. You know, in the past, Man United have had managers where they've been walked all over. Ollie was the Glazers' puppet. He was walked all over by the players. Ragnick couldn't control the players. Mourinho, had problems with the board. Ten Hag is making it very clear that he knows what he wants and he only wants what he wants. And Ten Hag has set these kind of demands to United players. And reportedly, Ten Hag had a conversation with the United players. And he's basically informed all the United players that aren't playing that they are going to play. He's not going to lie to them. He's not going to promise them game time. They will get opportunities because he will need to rotate. And Ten Hag has told every United player, because a lot of United players, remember, came to Ten Hag and complained about the favouritism at United. Erik Bailly came out. And Erik Bailly came out publicly and said there was too much favouritism at Man United. There was too much favouritism of English players at Man United. This is what Erik Bailly was coming out and saying. He was complaining about the favouritism in English players at Man United. And this was from Erik Bailly. And Ten Hag's responded to that because apparently quite a few United players had gone to Ten Hag and said, are you actually going to play me? Or are you going to do an Ollie where you say I'm going to play but you don't rotate? And Ten Hag has reportedly sat all the United players down that aren't playing, and he said to them, just because you're not playing now doesn't mean you aren't going to play. He said, we've got the most intense fixture list coming up now. We've got a game every 3 days coming up now. I'm going to have to rotate the squad. And if I rotate the squad, you take your chance, you play well, and you're part of a winning side, you will play more. He said, I'm rewarding winning sides and players that play well, and I am going to rotate the squad. Ten Hag said that to the United players that aren't playing. So your Donny van de Beeks and you players like Fred and Maguire and Luke Shaw that aren't playing, they're not worried. And Donny's come out and said he's not worried because Ten Hag will give everyone a chance. There's Europa League games. Ten Hag will give everyone a chance. Ten Hag is going to heavily rotate the squad. And if you play well, Ten Hag said you play. And Ten Hag said to the United players, and this is what I really love and respect Ten Hag for doing. Ten Hag came out and he said to the United players, it doesn't matter who you are. He said this to United players, it does not matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your name is. If you play for United and you don't have a good game, or you have 2 or 3 poor games, or you're not giving 100%, you will not start the next game. Ten Hag's made it clear to United players. He said, if you don't give 100% in training, if you are late for training, if you're late for team meetings, if your discipline is poor, you get dropped. But he also said, if the team doesn't win and you're one of the poor performers, you get dropped. Ten Hag said, this season is not about English favourites. Ten Hag said, this season is, if you play well, you keep your place in the lineup. And he sent a very strong message to United players. And I think that's really won over the players, because we can see with these United players, with the reports coming out, that the United players are buying into Ten Hag's philosophy. The United players are buying into Ten Hag's ideas. After 3 weeks, the United players gave up on Ragnick, saying he was crap, and turned on him. The United players turned on Ollie. They turned on Mourinho. The United players all seem to be buying into Erik Ten Hag's ideas. All the leaks coming out, or inside reports coming out surrounding the club, show that Ten Hag has won over the players because he's made it clear to the players he has a plan, and he's told the players exactly what he hopes to do. But also, apparently, Ten Hag is very impressive in training, very honest with the players, and he's completely won over the players because he doesn't blame the players. We spoke about this a month ago when we lost 4-0 to Brentford, and Ten Hag did that 14-kilometre run with the United players. it won them over. It was reported that he won the players over doing that run with them, because the players thought, okay, this guy is a good guy. He's not blaming us for the loss. He knows that he needs to change his tactics. And, Ten Hag's really won over the players in the sense of he's told them it's not going to be like Ollie. There's not going to be favouritism. He's told them when they're going to play, when they're going to be dropped. So everyone feels happy with Ten Hag, and he's won the dressing room that way. But Ten Hag's also won the dressing room in many other ways. Ten Hag went to the dressing room after we lost the games to Brentford, after we lost games, and he said to the United players, I am the manager, the board backed me, I am here to stay. If you have a problem with me, let me know and I'll let you leave. Ten Hag said to the United players, if you don't want to be here, I will let you leave. I'm not going to do an Ollie and force you to stay. I'm not going to do an Ollie and, not play you and say I'm going to play you. Obviously, Ten Hag wouldn't say I'm not going to do an Ollie, but all the issues were caused by Ollie. Players not playing, players not being allowed to leave. Ten Hag's made it clear to the buys and every United player, if you want to leave, I'll let you go. If you don't want to be here, I'll let you go. That's what Ten Hag said to them. I will let you go. And he's also said, I will play you based on form. I will give you opportunities. There's no favourites. And Ten Hag can say all of that. And the players can go, oh, bullshit, Ollie said that. But what Ten Hag did that really stood out was he dropped Ronaldo and he dropped Maguire. The two biggest names in the dressing room, Ronaldo and Maguire, the two captain figures, the two leaders of last season, the two camps were Maguire versus Ronaldo, who should be captain. The two most prominent figures in the dressing room that you would almost think were undroppable at United for the last year, Ten Hag's gone and dropped. And he's gone and dropped them for multiple games. And he's saying you only get back in if you're good. And Ten Hag's absolutely won over the dressing room because he's made his demands clear to the players. Anyone gets dropped, and I'm going to drop Ronaldo, I'm going to drop Maguire, and prove to you anyone gets dropped, doesn't matter who you are. And that is what Ten Hag has done. And that is something that's really a set for us. Let me take a quick sip. I thought it was gone. But Ten Hag's made those demands. But what I also love about Ten Hag, and what I also want to talk about, is how Erik Ten Hag said to the United board, I don't want you buying players for the sake of it. He said, I don't want you buying players because you can't get my first choice right wing in and you're going to go and buy another player. I want you guys to listen to this, actually. I will get into the live chat in just a second, but I think it's really important you guys listen to what I'm going to say. Basically, the board tried to get Dybala on a free. Paulo Dybala was available on a free, and there was a point where it looked like Ousmane Dembele was going to be available on a free. And Ten Hag was offered a chance to get Dybala on a free. Ten Hag was offered a chance to get Ousmane Dembele on a free, and Ten Hag said no. Now, Ollie would have taken Dybala on a free. Most other managers would have taken Dybala on a free. But Ten Hag not taking Dybala on a free sent such a strong message. It sent such a strong message to the board. That was Ten Hag's way of saying, I only want the players I want. I only want to get the players I want. Ten Hag said to the United board, you can offer me Dybala on a free, but he's not Antony. And Ten Hag doing that actually meant that he got what he wanted this summer. And Ten Hag is the first Man United manager that's made his demands clear to the players, but he made his demands clear to the board. Because why I think Ten Hag's going to succeed and where I think United have gone wrong in the past is where we don't back the manager. In the past, Man United have not backed the manager. Not at all. They've not backed the manager in the past. Ollie will want these players and they won't want to get the players Ollie wants because they're too expensive. So they go and offer Ollie a cheap alternative. Ollie wanted Grealish, who at the time was 50 million. We went and then got Donny van de Beek for 40 million. Did Ollie play Donny? No. Ollie didn't get Jadon Sancho, so what did we do? We went and spent 38 million on Amad Diallo and 9 million on Pelestri. Did Ollie use them once? No. Ten Hag, when he wasn't going to get Antony, was offered Dybala from the board. Ten Hag said, no, I only want Antony and Antony only. And the board realised, and this is massive, guys, that they couldn't do what they've been doing with Ollie, what they've been doing with Mourinho, with Ten Hag. Because Ten Hag is very much like, if it's not the player I want, I don't want anyone at all. Whereas Ollie was like, I'll take anyone. If I can't get Sancho, I'll take Amad. I'll take who you suggest to me. Ten Hag doing that is massive. Ten Hag doing that is so important. And the reason I say Ten Hag doing this is so important is purely for the reason that we're not going to be getting players because the board want them. We're not going to be getting any of these players because, this is who the board wants and all of that. Because I tell you this, if Ten Hag was like Ollie, we wouldn't have got Antony, we would have got Dybala on a free, and we would have got someone else shite on a free. But this summer, Ten Hag sent a strong message to the board of, you can't do that game you did with Ollie where you don't get my target and you recommend me a cheaper alternative. Because I don't want the cheaper alternative. If I don't get my target, I don't want anyone. And the board this summer realised, with the Antony situation, who they weren't going to get, because he was overpriced. They had to go and end up getting him for 100 million, because when they said, oh, Dybala on a free, Ten Hag said, no, it's Antony and Antony only. And what I like about Ten Hag, and the reason I think Ten Hag was going to succeed, is because Ten Hag is a manager that's only getting in players he wants, only getting in players he wants to use at United. He's not getting in players for the sake of it, which I think is brilliant. He's not getting. He's like, I'm going to bring in players I want, and I want only. Because if you start bringing in players for the sake of it, you can't build a squad. If you get players that only Ten Hag wants, he can build a squad. He can play them, and that's what he's doing. He's building a squad. United, if you look at Manchester United, we're playing like a team. For the first time in a very long time, I look at Manchester United and I go, that is a team. Manchester United are playing like a team. I can't believe my eyes. I can't remember the last time I saw Man United playing like a team. But Dalot, Varane, Martinez, Malacia, that back line, it's not 4 individuals. It's a team playing. Eriksen, McTomminay, Bruno, it's a team playing. And what I loved about the last 4 wins is United have won 4 games. United have won 4 games in a row. But what I absolutely loved about those 4 games in a row that Manchester United won was the fact that it wasn't someone there I could say played shite. There wasn't a bad performer. It wasn't like 8 players played shite and we won the game through individual moments of magic and 3 players won us the game like happened under Ollie. We're winning games and everyone's playing well, and there's not one player that's had a bad performance. Because United have come out and they've started playing like a team. They're working together, playing like a team, and I love it. Guys, please do smash that like button, and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more, please do subscribe, because remember, I will be live tomorrow for a Manchester United versus Manchester City watch along. I will be doing a watch along to the game, so if you want to stay up to date with watch alongs, match reactions, match previews and news, do subscribe, because they've got a match reaction and watch along coming out tomorrow. But going back into my point, the Glazers know, the board know with Ten Hag, they can't go and buy in the cheap alternatives. We know under Ten Hag, all the players we're signing are players Ten Hag wants, which means all the players we're signing are going to be part of Ten Hag's team. And going back to my point, Man United are playing like a team. We're winning games, and there's not a player I can say has been shite. Everyone is doing their part in the team. We're playing as a team. And for too long, we've been individual FC, moments FC. And I see Ten Hag building a team. And the crazy thing about this is I can see what Ten Hag's doing, and he's not even doing what he wants to do yet. Ten Hag hasn't got the players he wants to play the way he wants to play. I see Ten Hag getting this Man United side to play like a team when he's having to adapt his football. And in the space of a few months, the United side have gone from having the worst defence in the league to looking like they hate each other. So we remember the report that 17 players wanted to leave United. I'm sitting here in March saying 17 players want to leave United. Apparently everyone's unhappy. We've got the worst defence in the world. We can't play like a team. No one likes each other. To a United side that when we watch United play, we see a team playing. Everyone's happy. Everyone wants to be here. I can't believe that there was a big report that came out in March time that none of the players wanted to be at United and 17 players wanted to leave. And now everyone's happy at United and no one wants to leave bar 1 or 2 players. Everyone's happy with Ten Hag. Everyone's buying into his vision. I cannot believe the change in reports, and I absolutely love it. And that is because Ten Hag is buying the players he wants, but that is also because Ten Hag is making it very clear what he wants at United as well. Waiting for the spoiled drama, keen to throw him under the bus as rebuild. I mean, look, I'm getting carried away. I'm being very positive. You're absolutely right. My biggest fear is that those United players are going to throw Ten Hag under the bus. I'll be really upset if those United players throw Ten Hag under the bus, because Ten Hag's worked so hard to win them back. First 2 games of the season, I was like, fucking hell, Ten Hag's got a job on his hands. These players aren't ready, don't have the mentality. But Ten Hag's winning them back. And I just hope that they can keep buying into Ten Hag, because as soon as they turn on Ten Hag, that's it, we're fucked. But you're right, we can't trust the players just yet. As good as we've been, we can't trust the United players just yet. As Diego says, please do subscribe as well. And should United open the contract if United should get top 4 at the end of the season as well? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but if United get top 4 at the end of the season, I'll be absolutely gassed, because at the beginning of the season, I thought we'd finish in 6th or 7th as well. Tomorrow will be the real test. Not expecting a win, but to see players turn up says rebuild. Exactly. I think for me, the most important thing is that the Man United players do turn up and do put in a good performance as well. I think we will win. For some reason, I do predict that United will win, but I think if we put in a good performance, if it's a convincing performance, that's just as important as the 3 points to me as well. I hope we see Donny against the Monia. I think we will do. Diego says 300 people watching, guys, so let's go for 300 likes as well. My jam prediction is Gakpo and Goncalo Ramos in and defender out and Axel on loan. Palestri, I don't know if we'll sell Palestri. Pellistri could be in the World Cup. Uruguay absolutely love Pellistri, and he could be in the World Cup plans. Hannibal Mejbri could be in the World Cup as well. A lot of United's academy players, guys, you're forgetting, could be in the World Cup. But we do play Manchester City tomorrow, so do put your score predictions in for the Man City game tomorrow. And I do want to get into the elite lineup for the City game tomorrow as well. Will Rashford start the game? I've been told Marcus Rashford is going to be on the bench, but Martial will start. And we will get into the elite lineup in just a second. But I wouldn't be surprised if he assessed Rashford tomorrow. And then if Rashford's assessed as fit enough to play, maybe Rashford features. But right now, it seems that Rashford will be on the bench as well. I've got a question for you guys. I want you all to put in the chat one January signing you bring into United. Would it be Gakpo? Would it be this Goncalo Ramos guy? Would it be a centre back? Who are you likely to bring into United, and who would you bring into United in January? But I also do want to get into the lineups as well. So we will get into some of the lineups going around for tomorrow's game. Obviously, there's a few elite lineups going around. One of the lineups going around is that Rashford will be up top with Antony and Sancho on the wings, McTomminay, Fernandes, Eriksen, Malacia, Martinez, and Varane. And reportedly, this is probably going to be the lineup tomorrow. But I've actually had people saying that Martial's going to start instead of Rashford if Martial's deemed fit enough to. But it seems that Ronaldo's not going to start again tomorrow. And my question to you guys is, what do we do with Ronaldo? Because he's not been good for Portugal. He's not been good for United. Is Ronaldo past it? You know, that is a big question as well. Everyone seems to be saying they bring in Gakpo for sure. Everyone says they need to bring in Gakpo, but Ronaldo's not suited to this Man City game whatsoever. And I think Ronaldo will probably not be involved in this Man City game because he's not suited to it as well. And Ten Hag needs to fire up the players for the game, 100%. One thing Ten Hag needs to do is get the players in the mood for the game, get the players hyped up for the game. Because this is a massive, massive game for United. This is an absolutely massive game for Manchester United, and it's really important that we're in the mood for it. Like my biggest fear with United is how we respond to going 1-0 down. I want to say this now: when United go 1-0 down, we don't seem to respond very well. We haven't had that test yet. We've luckily gone ahead in every game, but we've not had that test where we've gone 1-0 down and we really need a goal. And that is the one thing I'm worried about, because when we've gone 1-0 down in Ten Hag, we don't get back into games. It seems we don't have the mentality to fight going 1-0 down. And what I find about Man City is they always get goals within the first 10, 20 minutes of games. Man City always score early goals. Man City, I believe, are going to push us right from the beginning, come at us right from the beginning, and give us a difficult game right from the beginning. And the one thing I sit here really worried about is I know City are going to come at us. I know City are going to push us right from the beginning. But if we do go 1-0 down because we're not quite on it from the beginning, how do we respond to that? Because we haven't seen United come back from a losing position under Ten Hag. Have they got the mentality in them? And I'd almost like us to go 1-0 down to see if we've got the mentality in us and see how we respond as long as we win the game. But I think the worst thing that can happen tomorrow is we go 1-0 down, because I don't know what the mentality is like. I know Ten Hag's been working really hard with the United players to try and get the mentality up, try and get the mentality of the club back to the best. But I don't know what to expect with these United players if they go 1-0 down. I don't know if they're going to roll their shoulders and shrug like we saw them do versus Brighton or Brentford, or we're going to see them come out fighting. Now, I know Ten Hag's the type of manager that if we do go 1-0 down, he will tell the players they can do it. He will stop them shrugging. But it's what I think, for me, the best case scenario is we go 1-0 up, we can park the bus, it plays into our hands. But they've got Erling Haaland. It feels inevitable that they could score as well. It's a 6-point game, in my opinion. The thing is, if we win this game and we beat Everton, United are in a situation where they would be in second place as well, which I think would be absolutely crazy. Imagine going into second place after the way we started the season. I mean, it would be absolute madness, because we lost our first 2 games of the season, and now we could be sitting here in second place if we beat City tomorrow and we beat Everton, but only 3 points off first, and then we could be saying title charge. Now, I don't actually think we're going to win the league. I don't think we're going to be going on a title charge or anything like that, but it is a crazy thing to bear in mind as well. How about Martial? I really miss him. Martial will be involved tomorrow. I think he will be on the bench, but there are rumours going around that Martial will start. Scamacca scored tonight for West Ham. I'm super happy Scamacca scored. I really like Scamacca as a striker, and I always thought it'd be a good signing for West Ham as well. And I would bring Andy Carroll in January, says Rayuk. And Timmy Raheem says, I feel like we're going to win 2-1. Guys, do get your score predictions in down below as well. But Antony out, Casemiro in, and McTomminay in. So let's get into the lineup for tomorrow's game. Let's get into my predicted lineup for tomorrow's game and the leaked lineups going around. So tomorrow we know that Manchester United will be, in fact, playing a 4-2-3-1. that is the way Ten Hag lines up. And unless there's any injuries in the next 24 hours, we know that Ten Hag will have an unchanged back four. I think we all know going into games what the back four will be. There were rumours of Luke Shaw starting, and I do think left back is a debatable position if Luke Shaw finds his form back. But I just think you don't really change a winning team. So it's rumoured to be Varane, Martinez, Dalot, and obviously Malacia coming in here at left back. With obviously Scott going in the DM role instead of Eriksen again. Which, for me, I personally disagree with. I think, Casemiro should be playing alongside Eriksen, not Scott. But I would understand why Scott is playing because he's won the last few games and he's been good. Bruno is likely to play as a 10. Antony will play on the right-hand side here. We will put Antony here on the right-hand side. And Sancho is reportedly going to play on the left because Rashford is going to have to be on the bench because he's still not fully fit. But the crazy thing is, there's a lot of rumours that Martial could play tomorrow going around, and we could see Antony Martial's return. And if Martial is not fit, apparently it could be Elanga over Ronaldo, and Ten Hag doesn't plan on using Ronaldo this game, which is interesting. But today they're assessing Martial's fitness. There was basically a lot of question marks going around if Martial and Rashford can play in the derby. And it was said by Samuel Lucas that Ten Hag is doing an additional training session today to assess the fitness of certain players. So we find out today for sure if Martial and Rashford are fit to play in the Manchester derby. But if Ten Hag deems Martial fit to play and fit to start, it's reported that Martial will start in the Manchester derby. And one thing about Martial in the Manchester derby is when he played in the Manchester derby last year, he was man of the match. He was linking up play. He was destroying Diaz. He causes a lot of problems in the derby. Michael Jones says Casemiro should be playing. I agree, but I'm not going to flip my shit if he plays McTomminay because he's won the last few games. And if City starts to play backwards, Donny could be substituted for Bruno. I agree. That's what we should do as well. And we only need 53 likes for 200 likes. Guys, please do smash that like button. Let's get 200 likes by the end of the stream. And, of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Eriksen is the important midfield player. Eriksen is so important in midfield as well. And Antony out, but Casemiro and McTomminay in. A lot of people saying Antony out. A lot of people seem to not be rating Antony, which I think is quite surprising. I think Antony's a great player. I don't think he's been super impressive the last few games, but I don't think it's been long enough to judge Antony. But there's United fans that don't seem to rate Antony already, which I think is crazy. But Rashford and Martial being back is what we like to see as well. I've got one or two more stories to get into, guys, before I end the live stream as well. I want to talk about the Glazers selling. There's some news and updates about the Glazers potentially selling Manchester United. What's going around with the potential sale of United? Are the Glazers going to sell United and all of that? Bish, bash, bosh. And what's going out and what's going around at the moment is reportedly that the Glazers do not want to sell United. Now, we know that. There's a lot of rumours and reports that Jim Ratcliffe is going to put in a bid. His consortium is going to put in a bid. And it seems that Jim Ratcliffe will make a move for United. He said he's going to make a move. He hasn't made that move yet, but it seems that he will put in a bid. However, it would be a hostile bid. It's a hostile takeover. United's not up for sale. And a lot of reports and indications coming out that the Glazers have no intention of selling Manchester United. And an article came out yesterday that I read saying the Glazers did not find the Glazers out chance off-putting. And apparently the Glazers don't care that there's Glazer out chance going around the Old Trafford Stadium because they know it's going to be sold out every week, which is crazy. Now, I disagree with this report that the Glazers aren't bothered by the Glazers out chant, because why are the Glazers all of a sudden spending money? Why are we blurring out the Glazers out chant from videos we post on social media? I think the process is getting to the Glazers, but the interesting thing that's being said is that the Glazers have no intention of selling United. Members of the Glazer family do want to sell United, but Joe and Avram have no intention of selling United. So the rumours about United being up for sale and all of that have started to go quite quiet, but I think Jim Ratcliffe will make a bid. And I think once Jim Ratcliffe does make a bid for United, I can see those rumours going from quite quiet to quite loud. But it's very interesting to see that whole situation as well. Rennie says, I'm sorry, Haaland will destroy your team. David said, Rashi out for tomorrow. Then I think he's not fully out. I think he will be on the bench as well. And 3.75 billion is the share price. Man United will get new owners if there's owners around that can afford to pay that 3.75 billion, which is a crazy amount of money. But Jim Ratcliffe could maybe afford it, but I'm not 100% sure because you've got to think of all the expenses to come. Can Jim Ratcliffe afford that? That'll be interesting. The thing is, the Glazers, because, and this was said in the report from sources close to the Glazers, because the Glazers don't have any kind of emotional attachment to United and they don't actually really care about United in terms of they're not United fans, The Glazers are open to selling United if it's good for financial reasons. The Glazers are all about financial stuff. And the Glazers believe if they can get 4 billion for United, they will sell because that that finances is crazy. So I always think that's quite interesting as well. Will the Glazers sell or not? But it's reported that the Glazers have no intention of selling United, which is a shame. And right now, United is not for sale. People are going to make a bid. That the consortium, Jim Ratcliffe, they want to make a hostile bid. But as you said, the sad truth is going around right now. Fortunately, United's not for sale, and it seems like the Glazers will be here long term. But you can't rule out Jim Ratcliffe. You can't rule out another protest. There's ways to get the Glazers out, and we need to keep working and continuing on the ways to get the Glazers out as well. I want to say, guys, a lot of people talking about Antony tomorrow. I think Antony's going to get a goal tomorrow. I really do. I believe Antony's going to score tomorrow. So do let me know who you think is going to score as well. And Erik Ten Hag, and this is interesting. I want to get this up on the screen here. Ten Hag has spoken about Marcus Rashford. So let's go back onto Twitter. I want to get into what Ten Hag's actually come out and said on Marcus Rashford because I think this is really interesting. Well, let me try and find it here. So Fabrizio Romano came out and said this. One sec. So basically, Erik Ten Hag was asked about Marcus Rashford and the PSG approaches it turned down. And Erik Ten Hag said, from day one, I knew I was very excited to work with Rashford. I already knew the impact he could have and his potential. He brings that potential onto the pitch, and I'm really happy with his development. So this was Ten Hag talking about, obviously, rumours that Rashford was going to PSG. And what I love about Rashford is he's really put his head down. He's looking happy. He's looking smiling again, and he's playing well under Ten Hag. And he's going into you can see that Rashford rates Ten Hag. He believes in Ten Hag, and you can also see Ten Hag believes in Rashford. And what I love with this Ten Hag Rashford winning Player and Manager of the Month is you can see a relationship between them. You can see that Ten Hag rates Rashford, and you can see that Rashford rates Ten Hag. And I really like this. I really like what this has done to Rashford's confidence. And do you know what really annoys me? I'm going to come out and say this. Is there's United fans annoyed that Rashford's won Player of the Month. There's United fans saying, oh, but Rashford's only scored 2 goals this month. Why is Rashford winning Player of the Month? He's only scored 2 goals. Erling Haaland's only scored 2 goals. Rashford's got the best goal per minute ratio in the Premier League right now. In terms of September. Yeah, he played 2 games. Yeah, he scored 2 goals. And yeah, everyone's slagging off Ronaldo, Rashford left, right, and centre. But I don't get United fans that are mad that Rashford's won Player of the Month. You should be happy for Rashford. Whether you like Rashford or not, him winning the Player of the Month does so much good for his confidence. And Ten Hag winning Manager of the Month just sends a message that Ten Hag's doing a good job as well. I think Dalot will have a big game. I mean, Dalot's been incredible at the moment, guys. If you've been super impressed by Dalot's recent performances, do smash that like button because I have to say, I've been so happy from what I've been seeing from Diego Dalot as well. Hopefully, Martial was fit to play. There was fitness tests to see if Martial and Rashford were fit to play today. We will find out tomorrow. The travelling squad will be tonight. So we might even find out tonight if Martial's going to play as well. And it was said that Sancho scored against City last time, so it might be time to get another one. Exactly. Sancho loves to go against City as well. As Diego says, guys, do subscribe for all the latest news. And Pathfinder says City's midfield is scary. I'd rather have both Cass and McTomminay than McTomminay and Antony, says Pathfinder, going even more defensively as well. And David said, I love it when Rashford said his best moment of the season was the Antony assist. Yeah, absolutely love that as well. I love how I'm really happy Rashford's won Player of the Month. I think he's got a lot of the stick. I think he's got a lot of abuse. And it really annoys me that Rashford's won Player of the Month and there's United fans out there bitching about it, annoyed by it. I'm thinking, look at the shit Rashford's gone through. Let's be happy with it as well. Does he deserve Player of the Month? Potentially, there's players out there better. But has he had a poor month? No. And, is Rashford winning Player of the Month because games were cancelled? Probably yes. But Rashford had a good game against Arsenal. It'll do good for his confidence. It'll be brilliant. And West Ham are gone 2-0 up. Jarrod Bowen with the goal. My stepdad's a Wolves fan. He's at the game, so he won't be very happy. But big up West Ham. Bowen finally getting his goal. But look, guys, I'm going to end today's live stream, so please do smash that like button on the way out and do subscribe down below if you're new. I'll be back at 1:30 UK time tomorrow for the Manchester United versus Man City watch long. So 1:30 p.m. UK time tomorrow, I'll be doing a watch along to Man United versus Man City. And then after the match, I will be doing a match reaction, discussing the match. And then Monday morning, I've got a video out about the match as well. So do subscribe for match previews, match reactions, transfer news, news updates, and watch-alongs on the channel. All United stuff, daily content here on Alice Talks Football. And if I didn't read out your live chat, I will in my watch-along tomorrow. So subscribe for that with a post notification bell on. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. It was a good show. I've got to end now because I need my dinner. But thanks everyone for watching. I will be back tomorrow. If there's any breaking news, I'll be back tonight. So subscribe. See you next time. Bye.